Today's video, we're going to talk about how to add an influencer or celebrity to your PPC campaign to kick up your performance of your PPC campaigns a notch or two. With this, you guys that are, just startup companies, small companies, the celebrity angle is not the way that I'm going with this. Particularly if you are a big company, you could definitely use my information and go that direction. For smaller companies, there's something out there called influencers, which are basically the modern day celebrity that's more important than celebrities anyway, for the most part, or becoming so. You could take the influencers and use them to your advantage and with your PPC campaigns to get more performance from them by borrowing the trust and credibility that they have and applying it or attaching it to your products or services. And so this isn't, I'm sure everybody that's watching this has heard about influencer marketing, where basically, you go to a influencer and you say, hey, how much is it to do a post on your influencer page promoting the product that I have? And they give you a price and they post it and that's it. That's not what I'm talking about here. Of course, there's some elements to or of that here on this particular video. But what people are doing, that do influencer marketing, is they're cutting themselves way short on what they can do with the power of an influencer, just with what they're paying for already. That is, once something is advertised by an influencer, once it's seen, the power of that initial influencer post is gone. The trust you can get from having that influencer have reviewed your product well, anyway, you can use that again and again and again to get more and more sales from any advertising that you're generating after the fact. It's just like getting a testimonial. The power of a testimonial is in all the future customers that are going to see it. And so I don't know exactly why people that do influencer marketing haven't caught on to this yet, that this is basically the equivalent, the modern equivalent of a celebrity endorsement. And I think the answer to that is they simply do not understand yet. People have not caught on to PPC techniques like what is shared on this channel about how super targeted you can get with PPC anymore, with online advertising, and target somebody who's done this, this, and this, and then you can have this, this, and this show up for them later on, and have it work so well, and take things like an influencer post and apply it in a way that I'm going to show you that really, really works. So anyway, enough about the overview of what this video is going to be about. I will, though, cover exactly how to use an influencer review like it's a celebrity endorsement, attaching that personality to your product or service and to get a bunch more sales from it. This works very well for somebody who hasn't had success with PPC in the past because your product's new or it's just untrusted or unproven. It's a new concept. This is more so what I use this stuff for at our PPC firm. I'll tell you example products where we did use this strategy so you understand how to use it for your own stuff. With all that said, I'll get into it. Bigger companies have traditionally used celebrities to bring out new products, so it's easier to sell those new products, of course, for some odd reason. Just because Jennifer Aniston has used this particular brand of lipstick, people run out and just start buying it. They don't know what it looks like on themselves. They don't know the features or aspects of that product, where it was made, what's the quality, nothing, basically. They just know Jennifer Aniston uses it, which, to be fair, Jennifer Aniston doesn't even use that damn product. Of course, she may have used it once, but the general idea is she's being paid to pretend like she uses it because it's so damn profitable. People follow, what other people in authority positions tell them to do, that ultimately follow them. They say to do something, they go ahead and do it. And as somebody who sells a product or service that's in a crowded, competitive market, this is like a cheat code. Celebrity endorsements are really expensive, but with the modern day influencer marketing, you don't have to pay, $100 grand for a celebrity endorsement. You can pay $2,000 for a celebrity endorsement at the smaller level, at the like a And getting influencer mentions on social media can be expensive depending on what size of influencer, but you can have it, depending on your size of company and your budget, you can use this celebrity idea, where you attach a celebrity to a product to sell it and gain trust around that product to sell it at any level. The celebrity endorsement can negate the need for users to eventually even try that product to know it works well enough for them. So a lot of products out there, it's hard to convey, if you're the first one doing it particularly, that this product is going to help your customers. It's a new product, they've never seen it before, they're skeptical. It could be the best product in the world, but if you can't get them to go out and try it, none of it matters. And of course you can try to demonstrate that visually in videos and demonstration, product demonstrations, but still in a lot of cases, if you're the first one that has a product that does what you do, it's almost impossible to sell that right away because nobody believes what you're saying. But bring in the endorsement from somebody who already has a trusted opinion that's bigger, and at a certain point somebody becomes so big that people think that it's impossible for them to lie. Politicians! So you can take the celebrity endorsement, i.e. the influencer, get them to recommend and say that they tried it, and then everybody now just feels like they don't have to try it themselves. In the era of social media, influencers is a way that even smaller companies can do the same thing that bigger companies have been doing with celebrity endorsements for decades. Get the same exact type of effect, but with way less money, and therefore affordable to any company out there. And so, anyway, if you're struggling with your PPC and you have something that you struggle to convey the benefits of it, and have it believed and trusted, all that, a celebrity / influencer endorsement on your product is one way potentially out of what you're doing. If you are in a category that's been around, like you're selling a new fishing boat that now has XYZ% more durability, it's not that hard for people to wrap their head around, that you have a boat product that can do that. It's not that there's not that far of a disconnect between what people know and have seen and what you're claiming. When you come out with a product, however, like a product that can regrow your hair, which they haven't seen that before, legitimately, let's just say, the gap between what they've seen and believed already and what you're claiming is so far, this is where the celebrity endorsement / influencer endorsement comes in beautifully. And so I'll give you several examples of this, is where this has worked and how to actually use an influencer endorsement if you're in that type of situation to rack up a whole bunch of sales for your company and actually turn it into a scalable marketing strategy, which this main thing could be all you need to do until your product already is well known. Starting small also as well with barely any money and reinvesting that into a bigger and bigger strategy itself. If you got a new product or service that not a lot of people know of or know a lot about yet or trust, such as an example, one good example here would be an app. If you have an app is relevant here, like a phone app basically, is relevant here because if you have a phone app, you have the best app in the world. Until somebody tries it, they don't know how good it is. And everybody says that their app is the best, and you're not going to spend this, 10 minutes trying it out to see if it's worth it, because chances are it's not worth it, and therefore you're just not going to get people to try it out. Of course you could try free trials and all this stuff, but even then you got to spend paid advertising to get them to trust it. They're not going to know about it on their own, and the advertising cost it costs to get people to try this app is expensive. And so if you're marketing an app, it's real difficult to make money and try to do it with paid advertising, which anymore, if you're going to market an app, you can do content marketing, but a lot of times that doesn't work. Your influencer marketing is your only last choice. But influencer marketing is tough to get working unless you put the spin on it that I'm going to share with you here. I gave the example of the hair regrowth product. If you had something that's remarkable, that if everybody knew it worked, they would try it. You could try to give it away for free, but if that's not feasible, you have an influencer use it, and then you use the influencer review to convince everybody else. Another example would be any kind of like supplement. You sell a blood pressure regulation supplement, which we had clients that did that before. They had like a herb that they could do lower someone's blood pressure, but it's like, yeah, right. If, you know, the thinking is, if that existed, all the different the big companies out there would be using it. And the reality is, we'll just say, nobody wants anybody to technically get well, and there's no money in it, okay? So, and there's a lot of scammers. So at the same time, for both of those reasons, nobody's going to try your product. So what you need is a celebrity endorsement / product review to confirm to people that, you know, basically there's someone other than yourself claiming this works. Of course, if that person's big, the idea is they wouldn't risk their reputation to promote such a garbage product. And so with that, you spend a few $1,000s to get yourself a review. It's not that inaccessible for anybody to do this. It's just a matter of understanding that, you know, of course it works. And then, of course, squeezing out every last bit of value out of that influencer post that you're going to be able to get. I recommend YouTube videos because a YouTube video or just video in general, you can have a long form review which really goes into all the features of the product. So it's almost like if you can get a review from an influencer that does a product review, it's like a commercial with native product placement within that commercial itself. So instead of making a commercial, what you're doing is you're making a product review that's going to serve as a commercial, and then with that you can later advertise that to people. When they see it, they're going to want to buy, and you can then replicate that on scale. But essentially in the video, you have a 3 or 5 minute, 10-minute video, or a video in multiple parts where somebody makes a video, then they have a later video that says what the results were. It doesn't get any better than that, and it's enough content there that if somebody sees that, they've already went through the critical aspects of the product or service, that once they've already seen that, they don't need to know any other information. They can go to your site and read more, but for practical purposes, they've seen enough. They can just buy it as is. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to go through the methodology of, if you're in a similar type of situation, it's tough for you to sell what you're selling and get the respect that product or service needs because it's kind of new, or you know, it's too good to be true, or whatever. It doesn't, you know, it could be used in other situations. You may actually have search engine advertising working, but you can't get, you know, YouTube video ads to work, or can't get display advertising to work, so you can only scale online advertising so far for your business. So you may also just try this anyway, because it's not to say it only works for products that are new concepts or not believed or trusted yet. It just works really, really, really well there compared to everything else. But it can work in other situations too. But it all has to do with going out and getting a review from an influencer. It could be a celebrity if you wanted it to be and you were big enough or at that stage already. But it's about going out and get a review from an influencer and using that review to your advantage and as an actual tool to get more sales. So here's the steps that I use when I've worked with clients and advised them. I don't make video content here at our firm, but I can advise a client what can be done with PPC if we had the right video. And if you can get me the right video, we can use the power of PPC to get it to work. And if they're open to it, I want to start using this more. And where we can't get display advertising to work because of it's not a trusted, proven product yet, I suggest the following mechanism, in which we have actually tried and proven it's worked in multiple occasions now. So how do you do this? The first step is you find your customer demographic. So if you're a new company, obviously this is harder, or if you haven't had success really selling much of any of your product or service yet, you got to figure out, if you have customers, who are the people? What are the age at least, and the average gender, or the average gender, male or female, that is typically average customer who's buying right now. Why? Because we want to narrow down our targeting on our future way that we're going to be targeting people with our advertising that advertises our influencer review and product review that we're having, or service. You could call a service a product review. Just know that I mean the same thing there. We want to narrow it down to basically our base first. You can try. I always recommend in my videos about PPC, first of all, start small. And when you start small, try to narrow down to the best of the best or most likely to work stuff first. Get that to work, and then reinvest your money and your profit into going wider. Because if you start out wide, you'll just end up losing all your money before you gather enough data about what didn't work, and then you don't live to, advertise another day. So if we kind of figure out as much as we can about the average typical buyer, we can structure everything around that and have 3 to 5 times more likely to have it work than just going after anybody. It's a male, 35 to 55 typically, and we sell gaming PCs, okay? And we sell gaming PCs. Within that, they typically go ahead and watch gaming channels, okay? So we know that's the kind of information you want to know, like what kind of content do they consume, their age and their gender. You'll end up a lot better starting out, or at the end of this than if you didn't go ahead and figure this information. Think through it clearly, go through your customer database, really discover it, pump out all your customer data into a spreadsheet, run the averages, really figure it out, because when you get to the end and you didn't do all this work, you're going to say, well, if I would have did that, maybe it didn't work. And you're going to have to go spend all that money and time to do it all over again just to know if it worked or not. Or convince yourself it didn't matter and then just don't do anything like the average person might do. But once you've got who to target, or you figure out you've done, if you don't have any customers yet, you go on to forums and you ask questions. Would you buy this, and see who responds, and look at different like reviews and stuff of your competitor stuff if you can. Anyway, once you have that, find a YouTuber with similar demographics as your target customer. Okay. Now, pretty much anybody who has a bigger YouTube channel will do brand deals. Brand deals could be, companies approach them for a 30-second mention within their YouTube video, their normal everyday videos that they make. Sometimes that YouTuber is willing to do a whole dedicated product video to review a product or service you have, which is a big chunk of money in comparison to a 30-second slot. But they also do that. It's also considered brand deals. So if you know what type of content that your customers typically consume on YouTube, this is also revolving around YouTube, at least at the start, because like I said, I like video. I think video is the right format to convince users on the whole to do the whole package, figure out everything that the user needs to do, what you offer to buy right then and there without having to see anything else. Because not a lot of people will go to your website, but they'll they'll watch that whole video, generally speaking, because that's what they're on YouTube to do in the first place, is consume video content. But in our gaming PCs example that I just gave you, these people who buy gaming PCs watch gaming channels, like where watch people basically showing tips and different tricks and tips of how to play a certain game, like do this, go there, do that. And within that, they also do maybe a little bit of other content about different products that they use and certain keyboards and stuff that they recommend for gaming, whatever. You find that channel has your customers watching it more than any other channel on YouTube. Okay, at that point, you can go to that YouTube channel owner and ask them. You can ask for the rate card, is what it's called. Essentially, a rate card just tells them all the different advertising options they offer on and within their channel. Here's everything I offer, and here's the prices for everything. And so, but going back to number 2 here real quick, they can actually tell you, if you need a male customer 35 to 55 and you weren't quite sure of that, the YouTubers will all know what gender and age their typical users are, because they give you that stat or those stats inside YouTube analytics. As a YouTube creator, they give it to you inside the YouTube platform. So when you think that the people watching the gaming channel are male 35 to 55. If you don't know it yet, you can ask the YouTuber once you reached out to them. They'll probably have it on the rate card already, because people normally want to know that stuff, and they just get it out in front of you anyway if they're smart. And then you'll know, okay, my customer, my age, gender, I got it. I basically know this is, out of any other channel, this is more saturated with potential customers that I could have than any other place. I now know that this person does brand review videos, or product review videos, sorry, which they give you a dedicated video for a certain price where they'll review a product or service, but, you know, with that. And the cost for doing that, by the way, if somebody has 50,000 subscribers, which is about the size I would start out with, at that size, or at least 10,000. You can do 10,000 to 100K. At that size, but around 50K, that person seems authoritative enough that if somebody sees a review by that person, they're not going to question that person's motives. At a certain point, the notoriety of that person gets to the point where people automatically just believe anything they say, just to put it in simple terms. So if you go too small, you know, people won't trust their opinion as much. But at 50K or above, I think, you know, you're fine, basically. It gets better the higher up you go, but 50K is about what I would shoot for, let's say, just to start out with. And the price for that is usually about $2,000 for a product review. It can be more depending on what kind of, as they call it, the CPM cost of that market, i.e. what does it cost to advertise on content of that genre. You know, where it's more, you know, people have higher incomes and they're more likely to buy expensive, like a channel about, you know, getting rid of how to deal with a divorce. Advertising on channels like that are expensive because lawyers all compete for that ad space. And of course, a pranks channel, those people aren't going to buy very much of anything realistically, you know, just basically, it's just general advertising space. You'll pay a 10th or 20th of the rate to advertise on that space as the divorce channel. So it may cost you $2,000 for a product review video. It might cost you $10,000. It might cost you $1,000. So anyway, just prepare to, there is a general range there, but if you stick with it, the idea here is you only have to do one. You pick one, try to do the best job you can picking the most relevant channel, cross-verifying the demographics of the people watching that channel is in the demographic channel that you need them to be customers typically. Once you've done that, you can pay them and they'll record and do a product review of that product or service that you have, that you desperately need to get the message out about, that this product or service does actually what you say it does, and it can be trusted. The results can be trusted specifically. So that's what you do for step 3. Now step 4, moving forward here, most people, step 1, 2, and 3 is as far as they're going to go. This is traditional influencer marketing. You go find somebody that you have potential customers watching some YouTube channel. They get, instead of advertising on that YouTube channel through Google Ads, which is where you would do that through, you actually have them, you know, do a brand deal, as I said, and they'll actually recommend your product on, you know, the channel creator will recommend your product or service on the video, which in and itself is more powerful because it seems like an endorsement, obviously, right? But that endorsement will play on the channel. They'll see if the amount of resulting sales that they get by having your company or product or service mentioned on that channel pays for the cost of what it costs to get the brand deal done. And if it works, they'll do an ongoing deal with that company and potentially maybe do it on another channel. What I'm telling you here, this is totally short-sighted, and at some point people are going to catch on to this. I don't know when. At some point they're going to catch on to this. Influencer marketing is still fairly new. If you take that product review that you got, which is essentially just if you could take the video in and itself and you showed it to somebody else that, you know, basically that knows of that YouTuber, we'll just say, and or just knows that they're authoritative and watch that video because they went through the whole thing. This is what it does. This is what it's supposed to do. This is the results I got. They would buy just from that video. It's like a literal commercial that you didn't have to produce. So instead of creating a 30-second commercial or 3-minute commercial or whatever, you got somebody who did the commercial for you by just doing a showing the results that they got, and you can use that as a commercial. You take the video, the product review that they did, and you actually literally, you can edit it, you can chop it up, you can cut out some of the boring parts, but you can condense it down. But after you condense it down, you've got it essentially what you can use to advertise to other people to expand the profits you're going to get from that product review being aired one time, or just that one time on that channel itself. Use that product review as a commercial. The first thing you're going to do with it is you're going to target watchers of that channel. So through YouTube ads, which you can advertise on YouTube through Google Ads, you can actually, in the targeting settings of your YouTube campaign, you can target any YouTube channel that you want. You could target everybody who subscribes to that channel, or you could target anybody who just watches that channel. And so you could test them separately, because a subscriber is going to probably convert at a higher rate for you, as it normally does, than somebody who just watches the channel, hasn't officially subscribed, because they trust that person's opinion more, that reviewed your product. But so with that, you can start with, if you want, just targeting with your commercial that you got now, which is your product review, all the people who are on that channel watching other videos that are subscribed to that channel. So instead of them seeing the video once, or presumably not seeing it, because not every subscriber sees every single video. Certainly not. When you have a channel and you submit a video, 20% of the people that are on your subscriber list may only be notified of it. Well, what about the other 80%? Well, if you were making money on the 20%, you want the other 80%, and you can easily get that by having your video show up during other videos on that same influencer's channel. And that's the skippable in-stream ads. So they're watching another video on that channel, the video pops up, it's of the same creator on that channel that they're already watching, so therefore they're probably not going to click the skip button. The more people who click the skip button, the lower your ROI. Essentially, this is how it works, because you're paying, the higher the click-through rate, the cheaper your cost per view, and the cheaper you're going to get your cost per visit to the site. They all link up. So they see their channel creator, and it's like, oh, I didn't see this video, I'm going to watch this. Not every time, obviously, but then they're going to see your product view. So more people who subscribe to the channel are going to see it in general. And it doesn't cost you very much, because the watch rate on those commercials that you have that show up for people on that same channel is going to be very, very cheap, because it's the exact type of content that they're watching already and already like. So the ROI on a video campaign through YouTube is going to be extremely high, because you've got content that is basically the same content that they watch on YouTube already. And so with that, you're going to try to see how many sales you can get off of that advertising. And generally speaking, in most niches, it's literally 5 cents a view. So, and because it's on a subscriber's channel, it could be less than 5 cents a view. It could be 2 cents a view, because it's already on a channel that they like and know and watch already, as I mentioned. But you can see how well that nets you a profit. Beyond that, like I said, the next thing you can do is you can target people who are watching other videos on the channel but aren't subscribers yet. And the way that you do that is you can target any, and people don't know this very much, but you can target any individual video on YouTube.com itself that you want. So you can make a list of all the videos on his channel or her channel that you got the review from, or the influencer that you got the review from, the YouTuber that you got the review from, and then from there you can get anybody who just, as they call them, kind of lurkers, people who watch for, they consider only like half the people who watch a channel and subscribe to it and come back, in other words, watch most of the videos on that channel, or lots of them on that channel, only half of that crowd actually subscribes. because not everybody knows how YouTube works, or just certain people don't like to do that. I don't know all the reasons, but so the other half of the people, respectively, that watch that channel, now you can get in front of them and see how that works. And further than that, certain videos that you are targeting, you can see what the ROI is of your commercial as it shows up on one video versus another video. And so if certain videos are too far, outside, that each video is going to have a slightly different watch demographic. And with your conversion tracking, you can see which videos that your video showed up on, where it got you the ROI that you wanted versus not. Okay? So that's what you do first. That in itself should be very profitable for you. Again, because the watch rate and the people not clicking skip and people actually paying attention to what you're showing them is so high, is so relevant that you should make money, considerably more money than when that video first came out and you got the reveal, the review came out on that channel the first time. Because you're going to be able to show that commercial, which is just the review itself, hundreds of times after that through the power of YouTube advertising, you're going to make way more money with you advertising that review. And really, if you don't even need them to post the review on their channel to make money. You just wanted them to. You needed a commercial that you could use that would be a tool for you to sell your product, that would get the trust across to people, so that you could actually sell to people what you want to sell and have them actually believe what you're promoting and all that. So you'll get the initial sales when the review comes out, and then you will advertise to the subscribers. You'll get more sales. You'll subscribe to the non-subscribers, but the watchers get even more sales. Then that is not all you can do. You'll probably have made quite a bit of money already by then. Then you could go on to the fifth step, which is target users who watched your videos in the last 10 days on YouTube and GDN. So what this is, YouTube and Google are really great. The amount of granularity they provide you with your targeting on YouTube and on Google Display Network, which is done through Google Ads, is amazing. You can now, what you couldn't do before, you can actually, anybody who watches any video on your channel, you can target them on YouTube to make sure that as they're watching any video on YouTube, they can see your commercial of choice, your video ad of choice. So with that, you can create a channel just for this strategy here. So no other videos on it. If you have a channel, just create a new one. With that new channel, all you're going to put on that channel is just the commercial that you want to advertise, that you advertised on the previous step. Okay? With that, now, and you use that channel, by the way, to advertise your videos from the fourth step. Anybody who's seen your advertisement, okay, you can make sure that they see it again anytime else or anywhere else that they're on YouTube. So basically, anybody who watches that channel, it's basically going to be plastered on every video that creator has. If they just seen it once, because it popped up for them automatically as an ad during one of the other videos from that creator that they're watching, they go to watch another channel about news later on, your video can show up for that person on that actual video that they're watching about news an hour later. Which, in advertising, there's a thing called the power of sevens. And basically what that is people don't take ads that they see seriously, generally speaking, the first time they see it. They'll take what you have more seriously once they've seen it a few times, which makes it seem more real and credible. And they also don't pay attention to it as much until they've seen it a few times. Once they've just seen your video ad once, because it's basically on every video of that creator in which you got your product review video from, you can, as they go anywhere else on YouTube, they can, see it a second and a third and a fourth and a fifth and a sixth and a seventh time now, and follow them around anywhere they go on YouTube. But it's still the same video. It's a video of James from Master Gaming Techniques video channel that's reviewing this product, and I've seen it before. Now I'm seeing it again, and it's slowly kind of affecting me more and more the more I see this. I thought that product was good, but dang, I really should get that product. And so you would want to then and you could do this through frequency capping is what it's called. Make sure that anybody who has seen your video, and you're going to show it to them on other channels now, on other videos during the video that'll come up there, in-stream skippable ad, that they see it up to 10 times, and then that you're done. And you've then basically fully extracted the value out of that individual person who watches the channel of the creator where you got the product review video from. But that doesn't stop there. You'll make some money in addition to what you made before in the previous step. Advertising on that creator's channel itself by advertising to those same people as they watch other videos, and a few extra times they'll see the ad. As they leave YouTube, you can also advertise to those same people that saw your video review ad on that creator's channel, which you got the product review video from. And as they go to, I don't know, any other, let's say, they go to crosswords.com. They go to do crosswords there. If there's banner ads on those, essentially ads on those sites where they're going, and if you see a website that has ads on it, it's probably accessible through Google Display Network. Not always, but most of the time. And with that same person, if they go to any other website and there's ads on those websites, and Google is partnered with that website, which most websites that offer advertising are, through a program called Google AdSense, your video can show up on those websites. There's no sound playing, but it's called YouTube Outstream Ads. And so that same video review can show up for people as they leave YouTube. So if they only go to YouTube, in other words, and see that one creator's channel, that's all they look at, but they go to a bunch of other websites, you can get your second through 10th try with them using that commercial on other websites as it shows up for people as they're on those websites. So you also can make money that way from the same exact product review that you paid the $2,000 for to get as a marketing tool for you after that time that the video, and after the time the video was released on that creator's channel. So you can see how you can really extend and leverage the power of a product review that you pay money for to get done on a certain creator's channel. And you can actually justify it costs $2,000 to get a product review, but you can use that to get way more sales than what you're going to get having that one product review only show up one time on the channel and that's it. You can advertise it forever or as long as you want on that same channel, on all the videos on that channel, as well as when people leave the channel and they go to other websites on the web, you can show it to them there until you've wringed out every last dollar that's going to be possible to be made from the people who basically subscribe or just regularly watch videos on that particular creator's channel. There'll be a certain point where your sales drop off, the campaign becomes unprofitable, and then you just shut the stuff off, and then you can go to another channel and do the same thing there. So you can start small. You can just have a video review of your product or service, and like I said, just advertise it, have it drop on the channel, you'll get some sales, and then advertise it just to the subscribers on that channel. And if that's profitable, you keep going. If it's not, you stop. But more than likely, because this is such a powerful tool, it likely will be profitable for you. It's just a matter of how long can you advertise it before you reach saturation and people have seen your ad enough to where they stop paying attention to it altogether. So there's a point which you're going to get more profit the more times they see it, but then once you get over like 7, then it starts to go the other way. Your ROI on your campaign goes down. And so you'll get so much traction out of a product review video that can be advertised to people who watch that creator's channel, and then you have to move on to the next one. But if you start with just one creator and just one campaign targeting the subscribers of that channel and it works, you can keep advertising it to people who watch that channel, like I said, but then you could go to the next channel and the next channel in that same genre and do the same thing there. And it ultimately ends up being a scalable marketing strategy for your company, to where you don't have to do anything else. You can just do a review, suck all the value out of their audience you can, move to the next and the next and the next. And there's most niches, that can take you to millions of dollars of sales, as long as you figure out the first one you did work. So you're taking a little risk, maybe investing $3,000 worth of what it costs to get the product review done and some initial advertising, to see if you've got a multi-million-dollar ad campaign working for you or lined up for you after it. So it's something that I would just say, if you're not having success in other areas, to do it, or if you're not having success with PPC in general, to try it. If you're not having success doing online advertising outside search engine advertising, you should try it as well, or consider it at least. We tried this with a hair regrowth product itself. To be specific, it was a hair regrowth helmet. So there's LED lights on the helmet. I mentioned this to them. The reason why people don't buy this is because they think it's bullshit. And said that as nicely as I could, and it worked. Okay, and because I understand a lot about PPC, I understood to take that further and explain why it's not just going to be used on that channel once and that's it. Because it in itself, it's not going to make a lot of money, and it didn't. But when you take that and then you have 3 or 4 or 5 different reviews, which you got the value from the initial drop of the product review on their channel, and then all the sales you get from all the people who subscribe through the advertising I just gave you, and then anybody who comes to your website through your Google search engine advertising, they're going to be able to see remarketing ads that show the reviews from all these highly influential YouTubers showing it works. So all your conversion rate on traffic from other traffic sources that come from like your search engine advertising that come to your site is now going to work better. You combine it all together, and it totally dwarfs what the initial drop on that channel is going to provide in and itself as far as value. The other one I did was in the supplement space itself. Similar to like the blood pressure medicine example I gave you, it wasn't in that space. I can't give you that one specifically. But anybody who's doing any kind of supplement, health product, anything like that, I would say this is I would absolutely consider it for anything like that, because it's a space where people don't trust. Everybody says they got a solution. People, if you can get an influencer that says that it works for you, it'll be like the doors just flung open and all the opportunity just comes flying your way after that point, because I've seen it happen for myself. So consider giving that a try for your business if you're in a field like that. And beyond that, like I said, there's a lot of other fields where this will work. I haven't got an opportunity to do it too much yet, but if it were my business, I would be trying it personally. And generally speaking, selling a more mass scale product. Can't do it for our agency necessarily. It's not like a really, really good fit per se, like a technical business service. But it could if it was more of a commercialized service, not a boutique service. I can't see how it wouldn't work to some degree for 80–90% of businesses out there. So just based upon how much it worked like clockwork as per what I was expecting from it, and then how much it delivered afterwards on these two examples I gave you. And with that, it's really simple to do. That's the other thing. Yes, it takes a few $1,000s to try it out. You can make millions if it works scaling it up. But this is easy to do. The influencer does all the work for you. They make the commercial for you. Making a video commercial for your company. I don't do many video campaigns with clients anymore because it's so complicated to make an infomercial, essentially, is what you got to do. A lot of times to sell a product, a short, 3-minute infomercial, but to get that right, and we don't do it ourselves because we're not a video production company, And if we could, it would be easier for us. But it's hard for people to get that right without experience doing that kind of thing. But when somebody can make you a video that will probably be a hit, and you don't, all you have to do is pay them $2,000, and it comes back to you, and you've got something that'll sell without having to understand how to make video, marketing, scripts, and all that stuff, it's more convenient to do what I told you here than it is to make the commercial yourself and hope it works better, or hope it works at all. And the rest of the targeting stuff, this stuff, you're talking about a couple hours of work to set this up. So anyway, I think I'll wrap it up with that. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up. It'll help get the video out there for us and, you know, help the algorithm. If you like this video, you should also consider subscribing to this channel, because I have a lot of other PPC techniques I reveal on this channel regularly, which are all things that we use at our agency or have used in the past that I release through the videos that we do here. I share stuff that works so you can understand what works without having, you know, to do all the trial and error that basically we do here at our agency. We are afforded to be able to do to figure out what works on a consistent basis and what works, you know, recently. What's the new hot thing to do without having to try a bunch of stuff yourself. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts about my content here, leave me a question or comment below. With that, I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a day or two time. So with that, you know, I guess I'll also say, if you also want to check out some of my other content, I have a blog at guaranteepppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build PPC campaigns the way that I build them here, that through trial and error I've also found to work. If you want to know how to do things on a more step-by-step basis, you can also find that kind of content there, basically. So with that, I will wrap it up with that, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you on my next one. See you later.